Pedals and Effects gets to show you first Hedra. Meris.
A world exclusive look at the Hedra by Meris.
Boom. And this is the perfect pedal for tweakers, for real.
When did Meris ask us about, or reveal this to us? A couple months ago?
Yeah,
March?
easily.
They were like, oh yeah, we got this really crazy thing happening, and it's a new pedal, and every time Meris hits us up that they're doing a new pedal, it's like, ooh, what are they going to get into next? The Hedra is a pitch shifter, a wacky, really, really good pitch shifter with 3 voices.
Yes.
You could delay out each note. You can add portamento to the notes. You got a micro tune knob.
This is probably also really cool for all you fusion jazz dudes because the modes in here, obviously major, minor, pentatonic, also has harmonic minor, melodic minor, Eastern pentatonic, which we had to look up because we're like, what's Eastern pentatonic? Because I actually haven't heard of that. And I did go to music school. But this thing, you can go into these modes and you can, make it to where you're playing and hard, hard tune it to where you're playing your instrument.
There's this funny hard tune option, which is basically auto tune for a guitar, which is crazy and makes you play any note on the neck and it's not out of whatever key you're in.
Tune correct.
So it's a pitch shifter, like an intelligent pitch shifter, I guess, where you can hard set the key that you want to play in. It's got every key, all the different modes, all that crazy stuff. It's just like really gnarly. Different delay modes, stereo modes, like series, parallel, dual, blah, blah, blah. It's got a swell thing on it. Like very, very typical Meris. There's it's packed with lots, way too many features in a good way.
Right. So that's why we said this is the tweaker's pedal. So again, yes, to get into the dual modes, you got stereo out so you can get the delays to feed into each other in different configurations. This thing is bananas. It's just, there isn't a pitch shifter out there that does what this does. And it's also, I'd have to say fidelity wise, it's right there with any other high fidelity pitch shifting, like a Lexicon or whatever. It sounds fucking awesome.
Definitely. There's pitch shifters that have attempted this. Also, it's a tap tempo too, which that's also crazy because there's sometimes you'll have a pitch shifter and you could go in on the computer and edit all this stuff. But what's really obviously cool about this is just all hands on, so it's right there. So definitely, I've seen it attempted, but this is the most forward thinking pitch shifter as far as I can tell.
Right.
That I have ever seen.
I'm right there with you. I think what you have to do is you got to get this and you got to commit to it because trust me, I committed hours and hours to try to get a grasp on this dude because there's so much juice up in it. Angelo and Terry thought of everything to put in a pitch shifter to make it an interesting and vital tool for any musician. So if you're thinking pitch shifting and you're trying to think about where you should go get one, go to Meris.
You tired of hearing us talk about it? You want to hear what it sounds like? Oh, hey, didn't see you there. We're just playing the new Hedra pedal from Meris. Pitch shifter. Okay, real quick overview, which probably won't be so quick because there's a lot of stuff happening here. Knobs. You got your key knob. Whole bunch of different letters there, right? For the different notes of the keys. Secondary function of the key knob is going to be all the different modes and stuff, right? There's a ton in there.
Yes.
There's an insane amount of modes in there. I like major. What's the major one called? What, Ionian or something?
Yeah, but they call it major in the manual, but it is Ionian.
Is that what it is?
Minor is Aeolian.
Nice, okay. Which kind of is the same thing depending on how you look at it. Depending on which note of the key you start on, right?
6 degrees starts the minor scale.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Correct. I remember that from when I was 14.
We're giving you a free music lesson here on Pedals and Effects.
So there's that knob, right? Okay, next you come over here. You got your micro tune knob, which just kind of gives it a little bit of you tune it cents. You know what I mean? CENTS, sense of micro tuning, so you could get kind of an out of tune chorusy type thing. Really cool. Secondary function is actually 2 secondary functions. You got your hard tuning, like your auto tune, your guitar auto tune sound. Pitch correction, which we'll get into. And then once you cross the 12 o'clock threshold, you get into your portamento amount, which is awesome. And then you get super wacky, wild sounding stuff with that. Next, you got your mix knob. Duh, everyone knows what a mix knob is. Secondary function for this is your delay feedback, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Chill. Also very easy to remember what that does. Okay, then you come down to here, the second row. Here's your 3 different voices. It goes all the way from, what is that? 2 octaves down. You can have them off, 2 octaves down, all the way chromatically up to 2 octaves up. Awesome. And that's just the same across the 3, right? Beneath each pitch voicing is the delay time of that pitch. So you get, like, depending on where you set each different note, you're going to get different cascading delays. Like, you get on top of your, dry note, right? So bum, 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 or whatever, depending on how you have this set. So we'll show you how that works. And then it's a tap tempo. So then you're setting, if each one of these represents a fraction of the delay, then you're setting the overall delay time with the tap tempo, right? Kind of self-explanatory. Then you got the different modes. Let's see, you got your dual, your series, your dual with cross feedback, and pitch feedback, and that's when it's all kind of like stacking up on top of each other. But the thing that we have found when diving into this thing is like all these knobs kind of react differently depending on which mode you're in. So, go look up the manual on this thing and download the PDF and like kind of do some like homework as to like how they all work. But basically they're all kind of like feeding into each other in different ways and like delaying and repeating in different ways, also depending on if you have a stereo setup. So that's something to experiment with, the different modes, right? Let's see, secondary function actually for the tap. Yes, there is a secondary function for this button. It's either the delay time that you're setting as you're tapping can be half of that. So if you were tapping quarter notes, I guess it would be a half note.
Yeah. So just divided in half.
Divided in half. You'll hear it. Just mess with that button. You'll see what I'm talking about. Also, there's one more thing. When you hold this tap button down, just for fun, they added in a swell.
Which is dope.
The swell is really, really good. The auto swell. So that's the overview of this pedal. I know I said we were going to play 10 minutes ago. Sorry about that. So now some sounds will commence. So if we start this thing, let's do this. Okay, mix 50%, key, chromatic, just for the purpose of showing you how this works. Okay, where am I at right now? Okay, so right now our pitch 1 is at 0. So that's just going to be your regular note, right? Your unison, dry note. But check this out. Here's your 5, right? You all know that I love the 5. There you go. There's your 5. Okay, now let's add in pitch number 2. Third, major third. Okay, so there's a major third, and then let's go to this guy and add in a 2 octave. So it's just chromatic, so it's just like arbitrarily shifting the note based on what I'm playing. But if we go over here and pick the key of C, and I believe I have this set to C major, which is, what did I say that was called?
Yeah, Ionian.
Ionian. Okay, so now if my guitar is tuned correctly, I should be able to harmonize a C major scale. Let's go to the guitar. Okay, interesting. So maybe that wasn't a third. There it is. It was a 4. I got to remember my intervals. Now let's try it again with the third. Right?
Army of guitars, Nick. And so for anybody who has the music knowledge, so basically what it did is like it's either going to be a pure fifth or it's going to be a flat fifth depending on where you are in the scale. So that's why it's intelligent pitch shifting.
Right, when you set it to the actual key, because
Right.
a fifth of this note is going to be a different fifth of this note.
Correct.
If you're in the key, whatever key you're in, right? That's how that works. So you can hear it. It does a flat at some point, right?
Yeah. Right there, the seventh, of course.
This is like some just like musical like caveman shit that like we probably should all know this, but some of us forget that stuff.
I forgot a lot of this.
So all right, so that's a really basic demonstration so far. Now let's add in some delay. So to add in delay,
You're already hooked, and now you're going to throw in delay, and now you're just
We're
going to
gonna
be
do
like
this.
sealed.
Okay. So now whatever that first note I had set, maybe that was the fifth. It should be a little delayed off of it, right? Tracks insanely well. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from Meris.
Dude, it's crimson in a box.
Yeah, basically. Okay, so now, like, peep this. I have these set at even ratios, right? So, whatever. I'm not really sure exactly what the delay times are based on, the different quadrants or the different, zones that you hit the knob in. But in theory, I should have, like, a pretty musical, rhythmic thing happening right here, I think. Let's see. Chill, very chill.
Whoosh, very musical.
Let's see. What's that do? Full mix. That is like the basic foundation of what the pedal would do.
And it only gets weirder.
Okay, so then you start adding in some crazy stuff. So now let's add in, let me show y'all how this glide portamento works. So let's see. I'm going to just switch to chromatic for a minute here. Okay? So you hear how that works. You can chill. Well, actually, you could go really, really hard on that. Let me, all right. Let's turn the delay all the way off. So now we should just be hearing the notes, and it should be like doing some crazy gliding.
Glide you right out.
Crazy gliding. So now watch, if I chill that and I get up to like, let's say 1 o'clock, it should be a kind of a quick one. So I don't like that note. I think whatever this one is set at. So let me go up to 0, unison. And I'm also, my mix is dimed, but I've got a unison in there. So that's why you're hearing the normal note. So, but if I change this. Okay, so now let's try this auto-tune guitar thing out. There's a really funny way we can do this. So, okay, set that pitch to 0, set that pitch to 0. Reset all of our delays. So let's do all of the delays off.
Clear them out.
Clear them out. Mix. Let's go full. We're going to have this secondary function set to hard tune pitch correction, which is right around there. Then I'm going to go to C. Now, and I think I want to be in series. I think what should happen is we should be able to play C major scale starting at any fret on the note, and it's going to automatically correct it to whatever the closest note of it is. So here's just a normal nerdy C major scale. Right? But look at this.
All in the key of C major, all the white keys.
Oh.
So for you dudes who don't know music theory and play out of the key all the time, and you want to play in the key, boom, there's your pedal. You will never play another wrong note ever again.
Yeah, for like any like 11-year-old that wants a guitar for Christmas, just get them a Hedra as well, because they're going to sound amazing right off the bat. I mean, look.
Just play the white key.
Look at this. They're all in key. They're all in
C major.
So that's
A minor.
Pretty wild that that's even a thing. It might not sound like it, but those are all correct notes.
In the key of C major.
So, but check this out. Okay, let me bring the mix down, because the mix was dime. That's why you were only hearing correct notes. Now you'll hear the fucked up version. Full mix. That's wild. That's so weird.
That has no tension, but then when you bring in the mix, then it begins to have tension.
Absolutely, yeah. So there's no bends in this mode, right?
Shouldn't be. See? Stepped up to it. Right. Wow, you're doing two notes there.
Yeah, there's on my synth guitar stuff, you can set it, like if you have a piano patch going, obviously piano doesn't bend, so the default setting on that is kind of like that, like it hard tunes it to where there's no bending. You could take that off, much like you can do it on here. So here, let's chill that out a little bit to like there, whatever that autocorrect is. So it's a little, well, it's a lot more subtle there because I think I have it at the tiniest amount. So that's a little more, you could play out that way. Yeah, so it's a little bit, you can hear the subtle differences.
It's crazy how it sounded like a little tremolo or something because it was fighting it.
Right, because yeah, exactly, because it's not as hard as you can get it. So that's crazy. That's just a wild setting on this thing. Expression pedal, little guy, plugged into this thing because I had this funny thing going at one point. Angelo came to the studio and I was like, oh, so could you set it up to do this sound? Could you sweep through the chords or the whatever scale with an expression pedal? And he's like, well, yeah, of course you could do that. So, okay, I'm going to go to C. There we go. Let me think about this because this takes me a second to conceptualize how to do this. Okay, so right now you can't see it, but I got to dial in what I want for the toe up. And then I have to dial in what I want. And I want full mix. I want the pitch at unison when I'm toe up. I want that off, that off, that off. Then when I go toe down, I want this at full. I want that at full. I want that down. I like to just reset these each time. Do you know what I mean? Just to make sure.
Keep your head in the game. I agree.
All right. let me see if I did this correctly now. Let's see what this does. Ah, fuck yeah.
Nail.
I got
First
it
try.
right there. Fuck, that
So
feels
wait a
good.
second. Break that shit down.
That
man.
feels good. So, all right. So when you when you slam the expression pedal, I set it to be going through the pitch, right, in C major. So what it's doing is it's hitting each interval in the C major scale up to 2 octaves. And when I had it toe up, which is like that, right, I had it at unison, so you were still hearing my normal, not my dry sound, but the unison note, because I have the mix dimed
Right.
on both settings. So if I hit an A,
A minor right there.
yeah, so
Because it's relative to C major.
I never really wanted to learn how to do sweeps. I did want to learn how to do sweeps. I just couldn't do them. But now,
You're going to put Paul Gilbert out of business.
what's up, Paul? What do you know about this?
You're hired for Racer X.
So again, we're still in the regular, we're in C major. Let me go, all right, toe up. Let me set that to chromatic. Toe down. Set that to chromatic. Let's see what that does. Let's see. Just goes through everything, right?
Yes. All 12 notes. Oh, and then some because you're doing 2 octaves. That sounds like a whammy pedal.
So, oh yeah, actually that's funny. So I was gonna say, on the Boss Super Shifter, you could do that. You could plug in an expression pedal and kind of turn it into a whammy pedal. But I was always like, oh, but it would be cool if you could hear the different steps in each one. And there was a way to do that, which required a mod. You had to have someone do some junk inside the Super Shifter, and then you needed to use a Moog expression pedal with it.
And then you could get the steps.
The steps, right. But and it was like a really difficult way to get that. And I never came across another pedal that could do that conveniently, and here you go.
But think of the possibilities, Nick.
I mean, that's the thing.
You could do that in melodic minor. You could do that in harmonic minor. You could do that in straight minor. You could do that in a pentatonic. I mean, you could do it in an Eastern pentatonic, an exotic scale like that.
Totally.
Fusion guys, buy this pedal.
Yeah, fusion weirdos. Okay, so now I set the portamento. I don't even know what that's gonna do. And for my final demonstration here, I don't know what I just did, but I just dialed up some weird, like, almost, well, it's not quite ring moddy, but it's getting there. If I were to, like, even have a shorter delay time, it's going to get close. But I got the feedback up, I got some notes going, and it sounds something like this. Oh, look at this. Awesome function.
That's the swell function.
Oh shit, look who's here. It's Juan. From behind the cameras to front of the bass. Basically what I did, I'm going to play in the key of A minor. Yes, a lot of Big Sur songs are in A minor, so I figured that's why I would do that.
Except I have it set to C major.
Oh, but he has it set to C major, relative, minor. Okay, so cool. You guys know that. If you don't know, look up relative, major, minor on a Google search, and that'll tell you what I'm talking about. Anyway, and so what I'm doing, though, is like I put some portamento into secondary function of the microtune, and then I put in some portamento, so you'll hear with the fretless with my sliding, and then it's sliding, then you just get this waviness. So I thought would be cool, and that's why I am playing a fretless. This has no frets. Here we go. So we're basically stacked, like we got a minor third in there, we have a fifth in there, and we have a lower, for the lower third. So you're hearing heaviness, sadness. So sad. My bass is even sadder than ever. So let's check out with the auto bit. So I'm doing basic bit crushing. I'm not doing any of the stuttering stuff in this sequence right now. I'm just got a really good bit crush sound, and then we're going into the Hedra. So we're going to go down a fifth, and then the other one's at an octave.
And the mix is cranked, and this guy's off. So there's
no real bass sound in this. It's all the affected pitch transposition happening. And then we have a little bit of micro tune on it. Same key, A minor, saddest key next to D minor. There's no more glide on it.
That's au naturel.
What happens when we do a little swelling, Nick? I sound like a fucking cello section. That's what I think I sound like. So like for all you classical musicians who want to like get rid of all the other people in the string section, get this and they'll fire everybody. I swear to God.